Okay, restart. I forgot to turn the mic on, you guys. Gah, I hate it when that happens. Every once in a while, it's when I'm really set up early. Thank you guys for being here. I just gave you the most awesome introduction that nobody heard but me. So welcome back. I'm Carrie from Stretch Chi. I'm so glad you guys are here. I picked this card out of the deck today, Upward Plank. And I thought it was really awesome because one of our trainers who's here, hopefully today, Ellie from the UK, she did class yesterday and she was like, oh my gosh, that stretch was everything for my shoulders. So we opened it up and then this sucker popped out of the deck, which means we're going to dive into that stretch a lot today. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to do this full extension of the stretch. This is the advanced version. I'm going to walk you guys into how to do this stretch from the most basic to this point and anywhere in between, whatever works for you guys. And we're going to use Ki-Hara resistance stretching to make sure that you get gains and you make like safe advances in your mobility so that you can do this. Hi, Ellie. I'm sorry you missed my whole introduction, so I'm glad you're here. Anybody else who's here online, give me a hey in the chat so that I know who's here. Also, if any of you guys have any issues or problems that you want to work through, let me know because I can help you. I have variations for all sorts of stretches. So if anyone's like, I don't want to be on my knees today, let me know. I'll fix that kind of stuff, okay? So just put that in the chat and we'll get going. Let's get to it. All right. Good. Sorry about that little delay with the noise. I hate it when that happens. All right. So for those of you who are here returning, I'm super grateful for you guys. I'm glad you're here. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. There's a little button in the corner. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you want to do that. It's actually really helpful for me. And the sooner I get a whole bunch of subscribers, the sooner I can start actually using YouTube's live broadcasting service instead of going through the stage 10, which I think is why the video quality is not so good. I'm working on it, so subscribe because that's one of the biggest ways it helps me is to get to that point where I don't have to use a third party anymore. So do it. Also, those of you who are brand new, there are a couple rules you have to follow to do Ki-Hara in the right way. We're doing a special method of stretching called Ki-Hara resistance stretching. You need to move all the time, like constant movement, so we won't hold any stretches. You're going to resist all the time, so you keep your muscle engaged. This actually makes you stronger, but makes you strong in your extreme ranges of motion. So it's really, really beneficial, and all these stretches are going to feel really safe to you if you resist. It's super important. I'll help you figure out how that works, okay? The last rule is that if anything hurts at all, you're either doing the wrong stretch or you're going too far. So if it hurts, you can either stop, abandon the stretch completely, move to the other side, or you can move in a smaller range of motion. And it's okay if your movement is like this big instead of like this big. It's okay. You just do what works for you. Now, everybody is going to be moving at different paces and different speeds. So I would say about 6 to 10 of each stretch if they feel good. And then you can rest or move to the other side or, just wait until the next stretch comes up, okay? So that's kind of how class works. Now, we're going to start off with our reverse plank and see how that feels, and then kind of work our way into getting deeper into the stretch using the principles of Ki-Hara and some of our problem-solving magic. So let's go ahead into a crab walk position. Bring your feet in front of you, your hands behind you, and you're just going to curl your shoulders in. So you kind of like curl up into a ball, and then you're going to push with your hands to open up and bring your chest up towards the ceiling. And what you'll notice here is that you start to get a stretch to the front of your shoulders here. You might even bring your head back if that feels good. And really open up through the front of your chest. This opens up your rib cage. It's pretty amazing. So you just open and close, just like this. Now, if you want to take it to the next stage, bring your hips up and see how that feels for you. And what we really want to focus on is where you hit the end of that stretch where your body says that's enough, and then you come back. Now, I haven't warmed up today. I just woke up, So my shoulders are, I'm not going into the full extension here because this is as far as I have right now. That's it. And that's okay. And I feel fine about that because I know that I'm going to open up some other things and it's going to get better. But for right now, I'm just warming up. And what I want to do is put my intention or put my attention on the actual muscle that I'm stretching. This will bring you really into the present moment and kind of empty your mind of all other things, which is not only a beautiful thing for real life, but is also super important right now because I want you to really feel what's happening in your body, okay? So, up for your stretch. Strength is just a controlled down. And if you want to just test and see, we can go into this full plank so you can bring your legs straight out in front of you. Push through your arms. If that feels good, you can bring your hips up and just take note of how this feels for you today. Do you have any aches or pains? What do you notice? It actually gives me like a little headache. It's kind of a funny thing. I also feel a little bit of strain in my back, and my shoulders definitely are starting to feel a little sore now. My wrists are a little wonky, right? Like they're just feeling a little like, right? So take note of what you feel in your body. We're going to make changes, okay? So the next stretch we're going to do is for the back of your shoulder and your neck. You can sit any way you want. You could even stand up to do this stretch or in a chair. It doesn't matter. Just find a seat and we're going to work on the upper body. Okay, so bring your right arm across your body and grab your wrist with your left hand. Resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. So your right hand is going to push up to the ceiling. Your left hand is going to pull down towards your knee on the left, okay? So you push up for strength and then pull down for your stretch. And when you get to the bottom here, keep resisting, but just kind of hold it there like an isometric. Just hold it, and we're going to move something different. So now move your head to the left. And see if you can find the stretch in the muscle. And what I want you to do is put your attention in the actual feeling. Like get inside your body. Feel what that sensation is. See if you can find that muscle. Put your attention in it so that you can be very present inside your muscles right now. See how that feels for you. And if it feels bad, move in a smaller range of motion where you feel good, maybe just like this. Maybe you don't put your head into it. Maybe this stretch is not the right stretch for you at all, and you could just skip it, and that would be okay. If you move on to the other side, that would be all right. And another thing, if you feel a pinch on your left side right here, then you need to switch sides. Just do the other arm, okay? So just reverse the process. All right, you guys keep doing that stretch. I just need to read the chat real fast. Jamie's here, yay! Hi guys. Oh, I love it with all the trainers here today. We have Ellie, she's from the UK. We have Jamie, who lives in Redondo Beach, California. And me, and I'm sure there are other ones of you on there who just haven't put your names in the chat yet, but go for that, you know? There's a whole team of us. We're all over the place. Okay, so now take your left arm and bring it across your body. Grab your wrist with your right hand and resist like you're trying to pull both arms diagonally apart. Push up, this time to the left. Continue resisting and pull down to the right. And as you pull to the right, you'll also bring your head to the right to find that stretch in your neck. Now put your attention on the muscle. Make sure you can feel it, make sure it feels good. If it doesn't feel good, move in a smaller range of motion or just skip the stretch completely because it's okay. You can do it another day. So just go back and forth. Up for strength and down for stretch. And bring your head to the side. Find that stretch in your neck, put your presence in the muscle, put your attention there so that you can be fully present in your body right now. So up for strength and down for stretch. Keep moving through that. We have Ed. Ed is here. Ed's in Scottsdale, Arizona. And Lori, she's chatting with me via text message. Lori is in Indiana. Crown Point, I think, Hammond. She's in Hammond, Indiana, northern Indiana. Oh. And Chad from LA. I think he's in the South Bay area, right? Welcome, so glad you guys are here. So excited. All right, and now we're gonna move into a stretch for the back of your shoulders. This one gets into here. This is a really great stretch and helps to complete some balance in your body so that we can get this opening later, okay? So bring your right arm up, grab the outside of your elbow with your left hand and resist like you're pulling both arms apart. You're gonna find activation in the back of your shoulder here, so go ahead and put your attention on that muscle as soon as you feel it working. Open up for strength, keeping your back really straight and just moving from the shoulder joint. And as you pull across, really put your awareness in that muscle so that you can feel it stretching the entire time. Open up. This is strength training. The muscle's short. You can feel the muscle strengthening, right? And here you find that strength training, you find the muscle short, find that grab, and then as you start to pull it across, keep your awareness on the muscle. Can you feel it stretching the entire time, not just at the end? Can you feel that warm tug through the outside of your muscle? It's pretty fantastic. So you open for strength, and you close it up for your stretch. Oh, Lori says she's in Munster, Indiana. Munster, Indiana. It kind of works, right? Okay, let's do the other side. So bring your left arm up, grab the outside of your elbow with your right hand, and you're gonna resist by pulling both arms apart to the outside walls. Push open, this is strength training. Keep your back straight, pull across for your stretch. Put your awareness in the muscle in the back of your shoulder. It should be right here. You might feel it into your shoulder here. And see if you can feel that muscle active the whole time. If you don't feel it, then work in a smaller range and see if you can feel it there. If it's painful or if this is not good for you, just skip the stretch altogether, okay? It's all right if stretches don't work the first couple times through, especially if you're new to this method. You might find that only some of the stretches feel really active and good and other ones just feel kind of icky. That's okay. That's kind of how the process works. And as you do this more and more muscles will turn on. Maybe every day that you do this, so you might have 1 or 2 or even 4 or 5 more muscles that just turn on. And then you'll find that you can really put your awareness into that muscle so that you really feel it stretching in the right place. There's no barriers. There's nothing locking it up. There's nothing keeping you from being able to stretch here. And sometimes that takes a little bit of a process. So it's okay, just be patient with yourself. See if you can really put your awareness into what you feel, okay? And like I said before, about 10 repetitions of each stretch, you keep track of that on your own because you're the ultimate authority on your own body, right? Now, I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. You do what feels good to you, okay? So if you want to do 4 stretches, that's fine. If you want to do 20 stretches, that's on you, all right? You pick what you want, but make sure that every stretch you do feels good. That's the most important thing. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Just wait. It'll feel good later. I'm pretty confident of that. Whether it's today or whether it's tomorrow or whether it's in a month, doesn't matter. Just depends on how much is blocking, right? Okay, let's go into our next stretch. This one's a push-up. We're gonna get a stretch to the front of our pecs here. Now, usually when we do push-ups, we think about strengthening the pecs, like actually pushing up, right? Getting those muscles to strengthen against gravity. But now we're gonna focus on the lowering phase of the push-up so that when you come down to the floor, your arms really open wide. And this gives you a stretch from your sternum out through your pecs and right into the front of your into your shoulder, kind of going into the biceps even. If you're lucky, you might get that whole line from like your chest all the way to your elbows, okay? So here's how this stretch looks. Come onto all fours and then drop your body into a plank. So don't have your butt up, keep your hips down, okay? The best way to do this is to pretend like you're zipping up your tightest jeans. That's gonna activate your abs, like really low abs to keep you supported in this position. Then very slowly drop to the floor without touching the floor. And when you feel like you can't support your body anymore, then you're gonna push back up. So if this is new for you, you might notice that your hips kind of drop down or you feel like you have to be up here. If you reset like this, then you're going too far into the stretch. You should be able to hold this plank the entire time. So hold your plank, drop, and push back up. Even if it's just a little bit, that's okay. If you can go further, you'll get that stretch through the front of your chest. If you feel anything in your back or shoulders, then the stretch is not effective and you can stop doing it. Or you could try it on the wall. That might feel different for you. So a nice slow down and then push up. It's a hard one. You could also do these off of your feet if you're, wanting to punish yourself. That's up to you. Just, go crazy. This is because we're doing eccentric training, or we're lowering instead of raising, we're focusing on the lowering. It takes a little bit more energy, a little bit more strength to do that. So you might notice that you can do like 100 push-ups on your feet, but only 10 like this, right? It can be pretty exhausting. It's good stuff though. It's really good stuff. Okay, so now let's revisit the front of our shoulders here. We've unlocked some of the things in the back of our shoulders. We've done some other chest stretches to see if we can unlock some of the barriers. Now that we've removed those barriers, we should be able to get into this stretch a little bit easier, okay? So come back into this crab walk position, your fingers pointing towards your feet. Be in a position that feels really comfortable to you to start, kind of a neutral position. Then curl your shoulders in toward your chest. You can curl up into a ball. And then push with your hands. Lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. Maybe look up. Let your back arch. See if you can feel that nice stretch. Oh my gosh, I feel that all the way from the base of my ribs to my head. It's great. Open up, let your shoulders open. You can stretch your neck too as you get into that stretch. Now if you want to test it, come up into this table. We're going to do a little bit of work on our lower body too to see if we can get this tabletop to open up even more. So just do what feels good to you. And if it feels like you want a little extra, try the full version. Up and down, always moving. Your resistance is gravity, so you don't really even have to think about it. It's just there. You have no choice but to resist. And when you come out of that, just roll your wrists around a few times so that you can really get some movement through there. Maybe shake them out, especially if that makes your wrists a little sore. Okay, all right. Let's work on the front of our body. I think let's do our groin stretch next. Have a seat. Bring your feet together like a butterfly position. And you're going to put your elbows on your knees. And then from here, try to push down and sweep out with your arms. So it's kind of like this motion. Once you're here, you can use the inner thighs to power your legs up. So you want to find this strength in your inner thighs and then use your arms to push you open into this stretch. You can lean forward a bit if you want, but just make sure that your inner thighs stay active the whole time. Keep that muscle really engaged. See if you can find this force here, keeping your legs together. Now, if you have a lot of range of motion in this, you might find that your legs just flop open. A lot of people have that where they're just really open in their inner thighs. Make sure that you feel the strength the whole time. So slow it down. Keep the strength. Focus on that strength. Feel your inner thighs and then come up. Now, if you feel anything in the outside of your hips, your glutes, the back here, it means that you have an imbalance between the front and the back. It's kind of like, the yin-yang circle with the white and the black. You might just have too much white and not enough black, or vice versa. That it's kind of a mixture, like you don't have an equal balance between the two. So we're going to focus a bit on bringing some balance to these muscles. So come up for strength and open for stretch. And if you feel this in the outside, then let's switch. Let's do a different muscle group. I'm going to turn this way because I have a towel here to put my head on it. Okay, lay down. Bring your right leg up and in close to your body. And then take your left arm and grab the outside of your foot. So I've actually taken my arm and crossed it over my shin and I'm going to grab the outside of my foot. It's my right foot and my left arm. Then I'm going to internally rotate my leg. That means I'm going to turn my knee across my body towards my elbow. So my right knee is now like touching my left elbow. If you can't do that, then it just means that you're too close. So take a towel, take a rope, take whatever you need, and extend your arm a little bit, and that'll allow you to get a little bit of internal rotation, okay? From here, kick your heel down towards your glutes without moving your knee. So my knee is hovering right over my sternum. Then I'm gonna pull up, and as I pull up towards my head, it actually goes towards the left because my leg is on a diagonal. So you kick down towards your hip, you pull up over your left ear. You should feel this in the outer part of your hamstring here. Now again, we want this balance between front and back. So you want to be able to put your attention on this muscle, feeling here, finding that present moment feeling in the muscle, but also pay attention, do you feel anything on the inside? If you do, then you have an imbalance between the front and the back. So we're going to work through that. So up for your stretch and down for strength. Find that muscle. If you do feel it on the inside, just switch to the other side, okay? Hopefully you don't, but we'll see. It's possible. So down for strength and up for stretch. And then we're going to switch sides. So take that strap and wrap it around your left leg. Turn your knee in across your chest so that it just hovers over your sternum, and kick down and then pull up for your stretch. You want to resist the whole time. So you're resisting down, you're also resisting up. So my arm's winning, but my leg is fighting. And it just goes back and forth. So now my leg wins, and then my arm wins. Put your presence in the muscles, see what you feel. Get yourself here right now in this present moment and think about, okay, what is actually happening? Can you feel the muscle stretch from the very beginning? From here where the muscle catches, can you feel it engage? Can you feel the stretch happening? Can you feel the muscle warm? Can you feel it the entire time? Do you feel anything on the inside? Think about it. Do you feel anything block you? Are you feeling like you just can't access the stretch? Then it just means you have an imbalance. If you're holding the outside of your foot, then your hand would just cross, your right hand would cross over your shin. So you can pull up that way as well. If you want to do this without a strap or a rope, that would be okay. All right, now since we want to think about this balancing of front and back, or balancing of yin and yang, then we're going to go back to our groin stretch. So go ahead and come back up into this butterfly position. Put your elbows on your knees. Resist by pushing out and like sweeping down and out, keeping your legs together if you can. Push in for strength and open up for your stretch. And see if you can access this stretch a little bit more in the front than you did before. You might be able to. You might notice that you feel it now. You might be able to get a little bit more strength in the stretch. Like you might be able to access the strength more than you did. That would be awesome. You might also feel like you can go a little deeper into the stretch, or that you feel safer in the stretch. And that's because we balanced our yin and our yang. It's pretty cool. Balancing the front and the back. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Okay, and now after we've opened this one up, then we can go back to our other hamstring that we were just doing and see if we can access that a little better, because it's just this balancing act between the two, right? We're recreating neuromuscular connections. Your brain is learning how these muscles really work, what needs to get out of the way, what needs to stay where it is, right? It's like, you have a client who tells me I'm not a stretching teacher, I'm a brain surgeon. That's what he says. I think it's so funny. Okay, so take your right leg up, wrap the towel or the strap around your foot, and hold it with your left hand. If you want to just hold your foot, you can just wrap it over your shin and grab the outside of your foot. Make sure that your knee internally rotates, so you're going to turn your knee in towards your elbow over your sternum. Kick down for strength and pull up for your stretch. Put your awareness in the muscle that you're stretching, and then notice how the front and the back work together, and how now the muscle in the front is allowing you to fold a little easier. Maybe you can turn in a little more. Maybe you feel a little bit more of a stretch. Maybe you feel like you can get your knee in a little closer to your body. That's the good stuff, you guys. When you feel this balance of yin and yang in your body, then you feel really complete. Like it gives your body this feeling of of core strength, of like deep balance. It's pretty amazing. Let's switch sides. Bring your left leg up, wrap the rope or the strap or the towel around your foot and hold it with your right hand, or reach your right hand across your shin and grab the outside of your left foot. Turn your knee in towards your elbow and kick down for strength and pull up for stretch, making sure that your knee stays hovering over your sternum if you can. That'll keep you internally rotated. So you kick down and pull up. Put your presence in the muscle so that you can really feel what's happening. Can you feel this muscle working? Down for strength and up for stretch. Notice how the two muscles that we've been working on, the lateral hamstring on the outside and the groin muscle on the inside, work together as a team. So now when I stretch here, the groin muscle is allowing me to shorten into this position so I can stretch here. As I come down, the lateral hamstring is shortening and this muscle here can relax a little. It could even lengthen a bit to let me open up on this side. They both work together, okay? All right, good job, my friends. The next stretch we're gonna do is for your quads. So take your towel and double it up, or your mat, or get something. You're gonna be on your knee. So you wanna make sure that your knee feels really supported. Come onto all fours. Take your right leg and bring it up against the wall so that your knee sits on the towel or whatever you have here to protect your knee. Put your foot up against the wall. It would be okay to put something under your foot, like another towel if you need a little bit of cushion there, or to turn your toe this way. Now you can also regulate the intensity of the stretch by pulling your knee away from the wall. So at any stage in the stretch, if you feel like it's too hard for you to get into or just doesn't feel good, bring your knee away, test it there. If it still doesn't feel good or if you feel any cramping or any uncomfortableness, especially in your knee joint, just get out of this stretch. Don't even bother with it. Okay, bring your left leg to the front and you're going to come up into a lunge. Push both legs in opposite directions so your right leg will kick into the wall, your left leg is pushing forward. From here, I'm going to bend from my knee joint to come forward, so my whole body comes forward, knee, hip, shoulders, all in alignment. Then I'm going to push with my front leg to push me back towards the wall, and this is my quad stretch. You'll feel it, hopefully. So come forward for strength and push back into your stretch. It's usually more intense too if you tuck your tailbone just a little bit. Turn your pelvis posterior. And then in the stretch, notice again where the stretch is. Put your awareness into the muscle, feeling that shortening and lengthening, the whole process, feeling all of it happening, not just at the end, but through the whole thing. That may mean that you need to slow down a bit. It might mean you need to speed up. It might mean that you need to increase your resistance, or it might mean you need to relax just a bit and let go of some of that resistance. A lot of people do things in different ways. So put your presence in the muscle. Make sure you feel it catch. Make sure you feel it stretching the whole time. Okay? Now this stretches here in the front of your body, but we also have muscles in the back here that need to fold. So if you're feeling hamstring cramping, or if you're feeling your foot cramp, it means that your hamstrings don't want to shorten enough. That would also be the case if you're feeling knee pain. The knee pain is basically because your body's trying to fold over your hamstrings and your calves. It can't fold, so the knee joint is actually starting to separate from the ligaments. That's why I said if your knee hurts, get out of it. I don't want you stretching your ligaments. That's not good. That's not what we want. So if you need to, switch sides. Don't do this stretch. Okay, we're going to come back to it. Don't you worry. And now put your hands down on the floor Take your leg and bring it down, and then the other one comes down, and we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. So again, on all fours, take your left knee up this time. Set your knee on the towel and let your foot sit against the wall in the way that feels the best for you, whether it's flat or turned, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. And then bring your right leg to the front and come up into a lunge. If you can't get up into this lunge, you're just too close to the wall. So bring your knee further away from the wall, okay? You could also put your foot against a chair or like your couch. That'd be okay. It might make it a little easier, you know, you could do that. You're at your house. Okay, so now push in opposite directions. So one leg will push into the wall and that'll bring you forward, hinging from your knee. And then the front leg will push you back towards the wall. Again, keeping your body straight from your knee to your hips to your shoulders. Put your present awareness in the muscle. Make sure you can feel it grab. Make sure you feel that stretch happening through the entire move, not just at the end. And if you can't feel it, it could be because there's a problem, which we're going to work through. We're going to do a little yin-yang work on this one too. But it might mean that you're moving too fast. It might mean that you're moving too slow. Think of it like if you were fishing. You know, I'm from Ohio. We fish, right? We never caught anything big, but you know. You take the fishing line, you throw it out, and it sits there, and it sits there, and it sits there. And then finally the fish grabs, and then the line gets tight, right? So you want to find the place where the line gets tight, and then you want to move in a way that the line continues to stay tight. If you move too fast, the line will break. If you move too slow, the fish gets away, right? So you want to make sure that you keep the line just at the right tension. It's a secret. So here, make sure you keep yourself just at the right tension, okay? Put your presence in that muscle, and then when you're ready, put your hands down, come out of the stretch as gracefully as possible. Come to your mat. Now we're going to work on that hamstring on the inside that could have been blocking your quad because they work as a team. So go ahead and lay on your back. Bring your left leg up and grab your heel with your left hand. You can put your thumb on the bottom, or you can even just put your fingertips on your heel, whatever feels the best to you. Kick down for strength. Contracting the hamstring, get it really contracted so that you feel that resistance, you feel the muscle working. Then you pull up, coming into your stretch. My arm is winning, but my leg is still resisting. It's still fighting. See if you can put your awareness in the muscle. See if you can feel that muscle working. Really feel it. Feel it from the top to the bottom, getting shorter. See if you can feel it from here, getting longer. It might help to even put your hand right here on this muscle. Can you actually feel it stretching? Can you feel the muscle lengthening? That's pretty cool. Now, at the same time that this is happening, your quad is shortening and lengthening. So as you bend your knee, your quad is getting longer. As you bring your leg up towards the wall and this muscle stretches out, the quad is contracting. It happens, I don't want to say passively, it's not very passive. It's happening at the same time. But this is my conscious movement, and my quad is shortening subconsciously. That's the word I want. I don't want to say passive because it's not really true. What's happening is that it's shortening subconsciously, and I want it to do that in the best way possible. So that means I don't want it to cramp up. I don't want any pinching or pain in that quad. Otherwise, it's not going to want to do that. It's not going to want to subconsciously contract. So find this hamstring, put your attention, put your presence on that muscle, make sure you can feel it, and then let's switch sides. So bring your right leg up, your knee out to the side, grab your heel with your right hand, kick down for strength, and pull up for stretch. So on the way down, my foot wins, my arm is fighting. On the way up, my arm wins, but my leg is still resisting. So if I slipped, my leg would fly down, my arm would fly up. And it doesn't matter whether you're strengthening or stretching, the same thing would happen on either end. Doesn't matter, okay? And then put your awareness into that muscle. Can you find it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it shorten and lengthen? Now can you put your awareness a bit on your quad and see what's happening there? Can you feel your quad shortening by itself without you even telling it to do that? It does it automatically. Down for strength and up for stretch. Here your quad is shortening. On this end your quad is lengthening. It's happening by itself because your present awareness is on your hamstring, remember? So put that awareness back into your hamstring and see if you can really feel it. Down for strength and up for stretch. All right. It's kind of a workout, right? Okay, we're going to go back to our quad stretch on the wall because these muscles work as a team. So let's see if just by working this hamstring here, we reinforced some of the strength and stability in our quad muscles. It also retrains the brain to know how you can move, right? How you fold, what's safe, what's not safe. So let's see. Let's see if you learned anything. Okay, hands down. Put your right leg up against the wall and your left leg to the front, and then come up into this lunge. Push legs in both directions, so one's going into the wall, one's going straight forward, and you push into a lunge, and then use your front leg to push you back into your stretch. A lot of times people notice a huge difference between these two muscles when you come back to it the second time. More stretch, more distance, better stability. You might find that your knee doesn't hurt anymore, that your foot's not cramping anymore. That's pretty cool. Just see what works for you. But it all has to do with balancing the front and the back, balancing your yin and yang, making sure that the things here are working in tandem with the things here. Everything's balancing out in the right way. Whew. All right, bring your hands down, bring your front leg down, and then come out of that stretch. We're gonna try the other side. So adjust your towel if you need. Bring your left leg against the wall. Bring your right leg to the front and come up into your lunge. Push in outward directions with both legs. So your back leg pushes into the wall. Your front leg is gonna push forward. And you just go back and forth. Forward for strength into that lunge. Back for your stretch. Put your presence into that muscle. See if you can really find it. See if you can feel it moving. And notice if it feels different, if it feels safer, if it feels more comfortable, if you feel more stable, right? What feels good to you? Can you move in a range of motion that feels better, like maybe a smaller range? Can you find the amount of resistance a little easier now? Like, are you moving too fast? Are you moving too slow? Can you find that Goldilocks position, the just right place, a little easier? Sometimes that happens. Okay, hands down. Bring your right leg down, bring your front leg down, and then come on back over to your mat. And we're gonna stretch out our medial hamstring one more time. So lay on your back, bring your left leg up and grab your heel with your left hand. Let your knee open up to the side so that your left arm is on the inside of your knee. Kick down for strength and pull up for stretch. Put your awareness on that muscle right here on the inside, and see if you can find the stretch a little bit easier, maybe a little bit stronger or more accessible. Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. I might be a little biased, but I think this stuff is magic tricks. Down for strength and up for stretch. It still blows my mind that it works so easily. And the changes that you're making aren't just temporary. Like, this isn't a change that's just gonna be here for a second and that you have to keep doing this every single day for those gains to happen. This change is a neuromuscular change. This is a permanent change. So it's a pretty cool thing, right? Okay, so bring your right leg up, grab your heel with your right hand, kick down for strength, and pull up for your stretch. Finding the stretch in the inside of your hamstring. Put your awareness on it so that you can really find it and see if you can go a little further than before. Do you feel safer? Do you feel like you can resist better? Do you feel like the speed feels more natural to you? Or that the feeling doesn't, that the stretch doesn't feel so confusing? Sometimes it just is so confusing. And all it takes is working through the front and the back, getting everything balanced out so that your body knows that it's safe to do this move. Then it doesn't try to trick you out of it. It's the funny thing, I tell you guys all the time that you're supposed to stop doing a stretch if it doesn't feel good. But here's why, because when your body wants to get you out of a stretch, it'll create all sorts of barriers so that you don't do it, right? Like it'll make you angry, it'll make you frustrated, it'll make you feel confused, your body will create like pain somewhere, like my foot hurts, I can't do it, or like a cramp, sometimes a cramp is a big one. That's I gotta get out of this, I'm cramping. Another thing would just be like feeling a little nauseous when you're in a stretch. When you don't feel good, the first thing you do is like rest, you sit, you don't do whatever you were doing because you feel like, oh, I feel gross, right? But if you force yourself to do this stretch just because we're in a workout class and I make you do the quad stretch a million times, even though it makes you feel sick, then that's your body telling you like, hey, maybe there's an imbalance here somewhere. Something's not right. And your body's trying to get you out of it. It's the same thing if you fall down. Like if you're in that quad stretch and you're really wobbly, it just means that your body's trying to get you out of the stretch. It doesn't want you to do it because there's a block somewhere. Somewhere deep inside of you, you have this inner knowing that this stretch could hurt you. And if that's the case, then you have to figure out what that block is, why the block is there, and can you get rid of it. And sometimes it just has to do with balancing your front and your back. That's all it is. Isn't that amazing? All right, so next, let's go into some more arm stretches. I want to stretch out our wrists and forearms so that we can get this, our plank, this guy, back, okay? So let's get onto all fours. Take your hands and turn your fingers towards your feet or towards your knees. And bring your wrist down to the floor if you can. If you can't, it's okay to be up a little higher. That's no problem, okay? And you can change how close your fingers are to your knees, either closer in or further away. Like it might feel better for you to be way up here. That's all right. You just figure out what works the best for you, okay? Hands towards your fingers toward your knees. And then very slowly, lean back. At the same time, push your fingertips into the ground. Your body will say, that's enough, and then you just pull forward again. Make sure that you feel this stretch here in your forearms. If you don't feel it there, then just hold on for a second. We're going to do a different stretch. So you come back for your stretch and forward for strength. Now you want to get to a place where you really trust yourself in this stretch. So if you're feeling like you can't move very far, you can't get your wrists down, don't worry about it. Getting your wrists down is not important. If you see me put my wrist down and you think I need to get my wrist down too, that's just your ego, that's an illusion. That's not reality, right? It's not reality at all. Your reality is different than my reality, right? So your reality may be that you just work on your fingers like this and you lean back. And that's totally fine. It's not a problem at all. Your reality may be that you don't want to be on your knees. So maybe you do this stretch against the wall, like this. And just kind of dip down, maybe lean back, whatever feels good. Find what works the best for you. Because you need to find where you trust yourself, where you trust your body, where you trust your mind to do the right things. Okay? Now from here, we're going to go in the opposite direction. So what you're going to do is turn your fingers towards your feet, but with the top down. So your palms up. We call these gorilla arms. So what you're going to do is bend your elbows, keep your weight on your knees so that your fingers feel protected, and push your fingertips down into the ground. And then from here, come up, just lift your back up towards the ceiling, kind of like if you were doing cat pose, and then rotate your shoulders and rotate your elbows. So you come down here, and on the way up, you just turn your elbows. This twists out all of these muscles in your extensors and your wrists and your forearms. So you just go back and forth just like this. If you feel like you can't do this twist, it's okay. Or you can maybe just do one side or the other side, no problem. All right? So we work the front and the back, right? And you want to do these in a way that really builds trust, that makes you feel safe, right? And don't do something just because I can do it. I've been doing this a really long time. So if you can't get your elbow to turn, that's okay. you might have to remove the doubt. So here you are. If you come up and just do one hand, just take your elbow and just gently give it a little rotation, okay? So you just go back and forth just like this. And that can give you this feeling of like, okay, the fear that I had, the inability to twist my elbow just because I couldn't wrap my brain around it was just an illusion. All you need to do is tell yourself that you're safe, like, oh, I can do that. And then the doubt is gone. You remove the doubt that way. Isn't that cool? All right, let's work on, what's next? Let's work on our rotator cuff. Bring your hands together so that your fingers are interlocked and put your thumb right above the crown of your head. And then what you're gonna do here is try to squeeze your elbows like you're trying to pop a balloon between your arms and then open back up. Now here's another one where you think, I have to get my elbows closed, right? Because that's the final point of the stretch. But no, my friends, that's not reality. Your reality is what's going on in your own body. So stop thinking about what the illusion is, what the picture is, what it's supposed to look like at the end. It doesn't matter. What matters is the movement. So as you close, when you start to feel like your body wants you to stop, and it'll feel like you just hit the brakes, then just open back up. When you do that, your muscles learn to trust you. They trust that you're not going to take them too far. They trust where they're safe in space. You're not taking anything past its point of safety. Every muscle has an end of it's like if you dropped a spring with a weight on it, eventually the spring will stop on its own. You could keep pulling it, but the spring will drop on its own. And you want to find that place where the spring drops on its own and then come back open, okay? And then you can test that spot a little bit, maybe go a millimeter further. And it's safe because your body trusts you. You want your muscles to trust what you're doing, right? And the reason why is because muscles work very subconsciously. They don't ask you first, is this okay? Can I go this far? No, when someone throws a ball at you and you catch the ball, your arm stops by itself. It doesn't ask you first how far it should go, or you don't have to have your brain tell you, stop, right? Because otherwise your arm would dislocate. That's not fun. So if someone throws a ball at you, we want the ball to know when to stop by itself. And that's important. That's where we build the trust, right? So make sure that you're staying within that range where you feel safe. Okay, now we're going to go up to the wall and we're going to do a stretch for the front of your shoulders. Bring your hands to the wall and pretend like you're trying to push a car like it's stuck in the mud. So you're pushing into the wall. At the same time, pull your arms down towards your legs. So the wall will stop you, but you want that active force like you're trying to pull down. From here, bend your hips. Keep pulling with your arms. Let your lower body win to pull your arms through. Listen to where that moment is, where your body says, all right, and then pull back up. I don't know how your muscles talk, but mine are like, that's it. And stop. They kind of turn into Ray Romano. Okay, so up for strength and down for stretch. That's good. And then back up. Okay, build the trust in your muscles. They know. They know. Don't push yourself past that point. Find a place where you feel really good. And don't worry about how far you're supposed to go or what it's supposed to look like. Again, that's not reality. That's an illusion. So up for strength and down for stretch. Put your awareness in the front of your chest and your armpits. That's where you should feel this stretch. Up for strength, down for stretch. Find that stretch in the front of your shoulders. Listen to where your body says, that's good, and come right back up. Oh, that stretch is so great. I could do this all day. Okay. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Okay, so now, hip flexors. Let's do this. Let's go into a lunge. Bring your right leg in the front and your left leg behind. We want to really open up the front of our hips here. So what you're going to do is try to squeeze your legs together. Your front leg is trying to pull back, your back leg's trying to kick forward, and you're going to use your front leg to pull you into this lunge. My legs are fighting each other. It's like I'm playing tug of war. You should feel the stretch in the inner part of your hip on the left side, and then use your left leg to pull you back. There are two ways to do this stretch. You can either allow your hips to turn into an anterior tilt. See a little bit of arch back here and get that deep stretch. Just make sure your back leg still can pull you back. Or you can tuck your tailbone, go into a posterior tilt, and see if you can find that stretch. It's different. Grabs a different muscle. We're looking at the difference between psoas major and psoas minor. Isn't that cool? So it just depends on whether your tailbone is tucked or whether you let your hips turn anterior. You'll come into a deeper lunge, but who cares how far the lunge goes? It all has to do with how much tension you pull out. So here, I feel like today, I want this tension pulled out. I want to be deeper into this lunge today. But if you feel like the tension on the other side is more important for you today, then go ahead and pull with the front leg, tuck your tailbone. You won't go as far. But who cares how far you go? Doesn't matter. Just pull the tension out. All right? Forward and back. We're just stretching out the yin part of our body, the front part, so that we can access the back in our next stretch. Awesome. Let's do the other side. Bring your right leg back, your left leg to the front. You're going to scissor both legs in. So my front leg's trying to kick back, my back leg's trying to pull forward, and I'm pulling all the time. Like I'm trying to pull my mat together in the middle. Whew. Now, use your front leg to pull you into that lunge, deciding whether you want an anterior tilt to go into this longer stretch, or whether you want posterior tilt to go into a shorter stretch. It just depends on what tension you want to pull out today. It's okay either way. Or you can go back and forth. Anterior tilt and posterior tilt. Two different muscles, different stretch. Kind of beautiful. Not worrying so much about the end range as much as you're worrying about, I wouldn't say worrying, as much as you're aware of what the muscle you're using. Put your awareness there. Really access that, be in the present moment. Feel that muscle. Decide what you want to do with the stretch. All right. Now we're going to go into a hamstring stretch. So lay on your back. Bring your right leg up and grab the ball of your foot with both hands. We're going to engage the hamstring by trying to kick down here. That's going to engage that muscle. And then you just pull up towards your head. This is a straight up and down hamstring stretch. So we go down for strength and up for stretch. Find where your body puts on the brakes. Kick down, access that muscle. See if you can put your awareness on the muscle as it's stretching up. Recognize where the brakes go on and kick out of it. And then just be so grateful about this new awareness that you have in your body. It's like you've been reborn. It's like new muscle cells, right? Like a whole new muscle. New legs, new arms, everything's different. You guys' bodies are so funny. My left hamstring is yelling at me right now because it wants stretch so bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch. It's like, come on, why are you not stretching me? So grab your left leg with both hands, kick down for strength, and pull up for stretch. There you go, you're welcome. It's like having two dogs, you know? Like one one's petted, and then the other one's petted. And you have to take care of both of them. Down for strength and up for stretch. Put your awareness in that muscle. See if you can find it. Can you feel it stretching from bottom to top? How does that feel for you? Does it feel like a good stretch? Does it feel like you want a smaller range of motion? Do you need to lighten up or move faster or move slower or more resistance? What do you need in this stretch? What would it take for the stretch to feel really complete and balanced for you? Don't just do it for the sake of doing it. This is your new body. Brand new, as of today. 1 hour and everything's different. It may be subtly different, but there's a little change, right? Okay, so now bring your hands behind you. Let's try out our plank position or reverse plank. We're going to go to this crab walk. Go ahead and roll your shoulders in. This is strength training. And then push your arms to the floor. Go ahead and let your back rotate so that you're into kind of a back bend. Bring your head back, find the stretch, let your shoulders open up. You can stay in this one back and forth, or if you want, you can go ahead and practice lifting your hips up, see how that feels. See if you feel a little more open in the stretch. You can stay there back and forth if you want, or you can go to straight legs if you really want to try something a little more challenging. And it doesn't matter how far you get or however many you do, it's just an illusion. Your body is your own body and your reality is yours. So you do as much as you want in the way that you want. Right, guys? Okay. Whew. What a great class. That was fun. Hey, guys, I just want to ask you a quick favor. If you feel like you want to give back to the channel. Right now, I don't have enough subscribers to actually make ad money. So the best thing you can do is subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Also, if you feel like contributing, like just giving a contribution, feel free to do that too. There is a link in my description below. Also, just telling your friends about this is like one of the best things you can do. If you like these classes, if you find this to be something new and exciting, share these videos with your friends. Give me a thumbs up. That's super easy, especially if you like class today. And let me know in the comments how you feel, because I love to hear from you guys. All right. If you guys have any questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the description box below. I'm really excited about seeing you guys again soon. So put in your calendar Monday, Wednesday, Friday class at 11 a.m. Central Time, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time, and I'll see you guys later. Okay? Bye-bye.